Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Occult Think Tank. My name is Greg. In this program, I am going to be talking about astral projection, but I'm more specifically talking about this program here that you see. I haven't paused, I haven't watched this yet, because what I first watched, and I had to put in an email, my name and email to see it, essentially was an infomercial about this program. Now, I knew while I was watching it that the person was interested in selling something. That became apparent very quickly. And I'm not opposed to people wanting to make money off of whatever. Fine, I'm all for it. But when it comes to, I had to go through an application and so forth where they asked basically why I'm interested and so forth, and I had said I'm skeptical. I am an atheist. I do not believe that there is a soul or energy body. What made me skeptical in the first place was in the infomercial the person had said about what got them interested in this was the movie The Matrix, and I just kind of rolled my eyes because the amount of bullshit that people have come up with because of the movie The Matrix, I guess it shouldn't surprise me that that movie also inspired this type of idea, but that makes me even more skeptical as to will it actually work. Now, I'm going to click on this, click here to watch, and this will partially be a reaction to what you see, but before I do that, I want to say I did arrange for, if I get a Skype call from them, which would be Friday morning. And if that would happen this Friday, I will record that conversation, and basically I would interview him much in the same way I would for if I were interviewing somebody for internet radio. I would want to know everything I could regarding the subject. And I would want to be presenting information for all of you. And this would be something, I'm not saying positive or negative about this right now. I don't know, other than what I watched in the first place amounted to an infomercial, and the testimonials, I just kind of, it doesn't mean shit. It really doesn't. Testimonials can be paid actors. It doesn't mean shit. The idea of somebody giving a testimonial about something, that's more religious bullshit than anything, and it does not validate what you're claiming. But let's see what this is all about. Okay, I clicked here to watch, and it takes me back to this shit, so it's basically watch the infomercial again. And, well, for that, what the hell. Oh, as you can see, they're wanting your first name and email. Well, this time I will, instead of giving that one, I can give a separate email because, well, okay. Now, I've already watched this essential infomercial, but I'm going to play it again for you guys. Oh, what the hell. It won't play it again, even though I put in a separate email. That is really bizarre. So it won't play it again, even though I put in a different email. Wait a minute. If I can get this.
Hi, my name is Florentine Ionita, and I help people succeed with astral projection. In this video, you're gonna find out what astral projection is and what the benefits are of having these profound experiences, along with the 3 things that enables myself and my students to have astral projections on a regular basis, and the 3 biggest mistakes that I see every beginner make when they try to astral project, so you can watch out for those. And then finally, we're going to talk about how to learn this profound skill the quickest and most efficient way. So what is astral projection and out-of-body experiences? Well, the best way that I can describe it is to compare it to something that is more familiar to you, like the internet.
By connecting to the internet, we get access to a new dimension of reality, consisting of digital data. How much more powerful are we as individuals with the access to this digital dimension? We can communicate with people from all over the world, send and receive information, files, and so on. The internet connects our world through this digital network, and we are able to use it to enhance our life. Similar to how this invisible network connects us to the internet, there is another network out there that connects everyone and everything in the universe, which modern science has recently validated through experimenting with quantum mechanics. This network is like the universe's own internet, and we are...
Okay, I'm pausing it there because equating the internet to quantum mechanics is at best pseudoscience. That's the most generous that I can be. It is absolute pseudoscience to try and equate the quantum world with the internet, because the quantum world deals with the quantum level, and there is a disconnect in the laws of physics between the quantum world and the level of reality that we're at. The laws of physics appear to be completely different. That is where Stephen Hawking was trying to come up with a theory of everything that would unify the quantum and the level of reality that we're at. So far as I am aware, he was unable in his life to come up with a theory of everything, a way to link the 2 worlds, because it seems the laws of physics differ greatly between the 2 levels of existence. But the internet is not a new reality. The best way I've heard the internet put is it is a worldwide library. It is akin to being able and having the library in your home, at your computer, or on your phone. That instead of having to go to the physical library, you can have it at either your home computer or your phone and be able to access it at any time. Equating it to the library is a far better, and not just your local library, but a worldwide library. That, I think, would be a more accurate description of the internet. But to continue this,
we are able to navigate with our consciousness through astral projection. With astral projection, we are able to access and benefit from this universal network of consciousness, similar to how we do when we access the internet. Astral projection is our natural born ability to consciously project our awareness out of our physical bodies into different realms and explore the world beyond the physical limitations. This awareness is commonly referred to as the energy body, and we are able to use this energy body as a vehicle to travel and explore the universe, and we can safely return our energy body back to our physical body whenever we want, just by thinking about it. The sensations of leaving the limitations of the physical body and travel anywhere within time and space is very pleasant and liberating. According to Tom Campbell, a famous NASA scientist and out-of-body explorer, our universe consists of information, like data. With our physical senses, we are only able to experience a very small fraction of the information that surrounds us. However, when we astral project, we don't use our physical senses. Instead, we use the non-physical senses of our energy body, which perceives and navigates with much fewer limitations. You can, for example, fly, teleport, or go through walls, taste or hear things that are distance apart from you, or have a 360-degree vision where you see in all directions at once. The ability to project one's consciousness has been known for thousands of years and is discussed by nearly all cultures throughout history, including ancient Egypt, the Vedas, yoga, Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, Sufism, shamanism, Kabbalah, and many more.
I'm calling bullshit on that because Christianity would say this is of the devil. Christianity would pose that if you exit your body to travel somewhere else, there would be an idea of some demonic whatever could jump into your body because you're not there. As well as what they also don't mention is, are there any potential hazards to traveling around and so forth? They make it all sounds so very sci-fi and glamorous, but it makes me wonder if there is the aspect of pitfalls that somebody could fall into, not knowing too much about this. What reason would anybody have to believe that this person has discovered all of those pitfalls and exactly how to avoid them? It all seems so subjective. But to continue this,
scientists such as Tom Campbell, Charles Tartt, and Janet Mitchell have conducted experiments under controlled laboratory conditions, validating the ability of subjects being able to travel and gather information from distant locations. And in recent years, declassified CIA documents have been publicly released on the government's website, acknowledging the reality and practicality of altered states of consciousness, such as astral projection and remote viewing. And with the immense number of subjective astral projections,
the idea of remote viewing, and they mentioned the government. As far as I am aware, yes, the government was involved with remote viewing, and they did fund research into remote viewing, just like they funded research into looking into aspects of mind control. But so far as I am aware, those experiments and so forth, while in some ways seemed to give good information, it is largely subjective as to whether or not it was successful or not. But the idea that the government was funding a program on astral projection I don't think so. Not that I've ever heard. In all of the research that I have done, I have never come across anyone that claimed the government was funding research into astral projection. But if anybody knows of a government program on astral projection, by all means, feel free to give me a link or something in the comment section where I can examine this.
Projections that people have been experiencing over the years, we can conclude that these states are far more than simply imagination. So, why would you want to astral project and explore the universal internet? What can you find there, and how can it benefit you? Well, similar to the internet, there are many things you can do. It's down to your own personal preference where you want to go and what you want to do. Here are some of the most common things that people do with astral projection: expanding their consciousness and gaining more knowledge and understanding to become a much greater version of themselves. Getting answers to who and what they are, where they come from, where they're going, and why they're here, which usually helps people to find more purpose and beauty in this life. Connecting to higher powers, higher dimensions, or other spiritual beings of great wisdom for guidance and introspection. Travel the non-physical universe and its many astral cities to explore new places and have profound experiences. Time travel to the past to relive moments in history, or travel to the probable future to find information about upcoming events. Perform healing on themselves or others to heal emotional or physical pain. Visiting the afterlife and reconnecting with deceased loved ones to get closure and comfort in knowing that they are okay. And last but not least, realizing that there are more than their physical bodies and that they will continue living after physical death. For most consciousness explorers, this will be an absolute dream come true.
Now, wait a minute. I do want to pause him there because all of that is very pie in the sky. And my big question that I would have regarding all of this shit, number one, the idea of astral cities in the universe. We do not know of even one other planet where there is definitively life. So, given the vastness of the universe, what is the probability that you could astral travel and visit another world on a planet you don't even know where it is? You have no map of how to get there, and even assuming you could find such another world, how the hell would you find your way home? What, would your body just snap back to wherever your physical body is by thinking of it? What evidence is there to support this magical whatnot? It all seems very... It just screams that this is bullshit. That there's no way... And I would do this type of thing more to test it. Because what I would be curious about is there an energy body or a soul or whatnot in the first place? That would be my objective as to why I'm doing this. I do not believe that there is, but I am open to evidence that yes, in fact, there is this either energy body or whatnot that can transcend death. Okay, fine. I'm all for that. I want to give and have programs for you, the viewer, to give you accurate, honest information regarding a particular subject. whether you are like me and a skeptic of these things or not, or if you're somebody that is religious and believes in a God and so forth, okay, fine. My big question with this would be, how do you rule out confirmation bias? But to continue this.
However, the reality is that most people barely know where to start, what to do, and how to do it. There is an overwhelming amount of confusing information on this topic online and in books, and for those who embark on this journey alone, they tend to get pretty confused and overwhelmed after trying to astral project day in and day out for months or even years with little or no results, leading them to frustration, a waste of time and effort, which eventually makes them give up entirely.
Now, before we get into the 3 things that enables myself and my students to have astral projections on a regular basis, along with the 3 biggest mistakes that I see every beginner make, it's important that I understand a little bit more about myself and why I teach astral projection. It all started when I was a teenager and I saw the movie called The Matrix. This movie was so interesting and made me seriously question my life and my reality. At this time, I was studying electronics and wanted to become an inventor. But after seeing this movie and the impact it had on me, I got very interested in the art of filmmaking and visual effects. So I decided to pursue a career as a visual effects filmmaker. I went to university and got a bachelor's degree in computer graphics, and after many years of working myself up in the industry, I was traveling all over the world, working on TV commercials, TV shows, and Hollywood movies. It felt amazing to work on creating the magic in movies. I got to walk on the streets where The Matrix was filmed and learn from the people who created it. I spent over a decade in the industry learning every aspect of filmmaking and effects while working on movies like Iron Man, Man of Steel, Total Recall, and many, many more. However, as glamorous as it may sound, after a while I felt pretty depressed. Working on the magic in movies made me realize how much magic was missing in my life and in the real world. Life didn't fully make sense to me. Why are we here? What's the point with everything?
Wait a minute. Now, it's one thing if this would be a video about getting into directing and so forth and working in the film industry. But if you're getting into working in the film industry and you think that working in the film industry in various movies is going to answer a philosophical question of why are we here, you're barking up the wrong tree. You're not going to be addressing philosophical issues with making Hollywood movies or even being part of the making of Hollywood movies. You're not addressing why we're here or what the reason for life is. That's just not what you're doing when you're in the industry of making movies. You're in the industry of entertainment. And that in and of itself would be a profession that you could have a lucrative lifestyle and lucrative income. The thing is, it is, I would say, completely second or secondary to this idea of astral projection. So it seems, at least from my perspective, in this, he has gotten himself sidetracked onto something that really does not relate to astral projection in order to try and appeal to people with the idea of, ooh, you were involved in making movies. Whoop-de-fucking-do. That does not relate to the subject at hand. But to continue this.
I had so many fundamental questions which nobody seemed to have the answers to. This existential crisis took me on a spiritual journey of self-discovery, and I became aware of the synchronicities and the repeating numbers that I was seeing, like 1111, 2323, and 555. These synchronicities guided me to underground gatherings and retreats where I learned about the spiritual nature of our universe and astral projection. At first, I was very skeptical because I'm a very rational and scientific type of person, and I never really had any mystical experiences at this point. I was not one of those gifted kids who had spontaneous out-of-body experiences from early childhood, or someone that could see auras or ghosts. And also, I was not practicing any meditation or any other spiritual practices. So I had no expectations, but I kept an open mind and tried the techniques that was given to me. And to my surprise, it worked. After a couple of months of practice, I managed to get out of body and had a personal experience which proved to me that this was much more than just a dream or my imagination.
Wait a minute. First of all, personal experience, while that may be enough in a subjective way for an individual, that is not something that you can take and hand to me or to any of you as validation of a particular claim. Your personal experience is itself, as it is described, a personal experience. So it is not something that can be validating for a particular truth. What it would be is a subjective based on your personal interpretation of the experience. But I would question, how would you know that that experience was quote unquote real and not a dream? How do you differentiate between astral projection and just a very vivid dream? I do not see how you could concretely come up with that this experience is evidence of a soul or an energy body, and that this means that you have some insight into what happens after death. I don't see how one can lead to the other. But to continue.
However, I found the astral projection practice to be very confusing and frustrating, because I wasn't sure if I was practicing in the right way or if I was practicing in the wrong way. My success rate was low, and I realized I was not a master at meditation and had a hard time staying focused during the practice, which either meant I was often falling asleep or I was staying awake for hours and like nothing would happen. This frustration led me to question whether or not it was my inability to get into the right state, or perhaps the tools and methods that I was using were not effective enough for me. It was at this point I had an idea. What if I could use my technological background and film editing skills to create my own technology and tools to help me get out of body? I immediately started to research and develop tools to help me with the practice, and using the scientific method, I was able to experiment with myself to find the winning ingredients that would solve the main problems that I was facing. And I managed to create a system and a set of tools that helped me to boost my success rates. And
wait a minute. He claimed he used the scientific method and then tested this on himself, which what it made me think of was David Banner. Those that have watched The Incredible Hulk, especially for me and like my generation, the TV series, that's what comes to my mind, is having this idea or hypothesis of like superhuman strength and being, I'm going to use myself as a guinea pig. And those of us that have seen or know about the Incredible Hulk know how that shit turned out. But I find it would be like hitting the cosmic lottery of going from not being sure that astral projection is even valid to, on your own, doing your own research, you just so happen to create the solution. Really? That would be like hitting the fucking cosmic jackpot on your own. And if this person could, on their own, find the solution and so forth, why the hell should anybody listen to him? And I don't even know at this point what he would be charging, because at no point in this does he mention a price. And that was one of the things in the application type of thing for the conversation. It had said about, am I willing to invest monetarily? And I had said, given that you haven't mentioned a particular price, no, I'm not willing to agree to any type of monetary investment, given I don't know what you're looking for. Because as far as I know, this person could be looking for thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. And no, I'm not going to invest. Point blank. No, I'm not. I'm not going to invest in something sight unseen. That is just, but the idea of this one person on their own created this solution, it strikes me as bullshit. But I'm not going to go through all of this with you, but I'm just going to go a little bit further.
The difference was huge. I now had a reliable system that not just worked sometimes, but consistently. This gave me the opportunity to expand my consciousness, explore other reality systems, and connect to my spirit guides, who helped me to get more clarity on my life and purpose. And last but not least, it brought back the magic that I was missing for such a long time in my life and in the world. And I felt like I had to share this magic with the world. People need to know that they are more than their physical bodies and their physical lives, and expand beyond the limitations of the physical world to wake up to their full potential and purpose as multidimensional spiritual beings. So I left the Hollywood movie industry and embarked on a journey of sharing my knowledge and wisdom in helping other people succeed with astral projection. And now I have my own astral projection program teaching people how to get out of their bodies. And I also have a podcast on YouTube where I talk about this fascinating topic with other fellow explorers in order to inspire and to educate the world about astral projection. I've also been featured in mainstream documentaries like On Vibe.
Alright, I do not care about his wanting to toot his own horn of various shit. The thing is, I don't see where he has gotten away from basically producing Hollywood type of movies, because he's clearly using that ability and skill with creating a video like this. The thing is, I don't see any way to validate or give validity to the idea of an energy body. Even if you could astral project, it would be something I would have, honestly, I'm shooting straight with you guys, I would have to, on my own, experience this and explain to all of you how you could do it before I would say, yeah, this is legitimate. Because it would be something that I would want to be able to explain what you will go through, what you will see, what type of experiences you'll have the first time in realistic ways. But even then, I would fully understand all of you having the, okay, that's an interesting story, but how do I know that what you're saying is true? And the truth of the matter is, you wouldn't unless you yourself go through it. So, in that, there would be, but I would want to have as much evidence and concrete fact behind it as possible. And so far, what I'm looking at, I do not see where this is any more than a pie in the sky type of idea. And it's something that I would be curious, how would one go about knowing whether or not it's true? The validity of. But this is something that I will be looking for on Friday, which is, this is Wednesday morning that I'm recording this, so basically 2 days from now, potentially, I could be doing an interview with this person, and like I said, if that would happen, I'll have things set up that I'll be recording the interview from start to finish, because it's something I would want all of you to hear, because that is something that I would want. Basically, I would want to be taking all of you with me on the journey with my contact with this individual, if it would be him or somebody that he's paying or whatnot. It wouldn't matter to me, in a sense, who I'm interviewing. The person, in a sense, would be irrelevant. What would matter is the information that they would have, and if they would be able to give any type of scientific or credible explanation or whatnot for the version of astral projection that this person is promoting. And let's just be crystal clear on this. They are promoting what would essentially be their business, and I have no problem with somebody trying to build and so forth their business. Fine. Another way of putting it, you do you. But what I'm interested in is giving honest information to my viewers, so as to not take you down a rabbit hole needlessly. Or if a rabbit hole does appear to be a dead end, I want to give you that heads up in the program that I do. It is something that's my goal behind this. Yes, if this would be valid, if this would actually work, and the interview that I do would be something that I would feel is beneficial and so forth, this could potentially only help his business, because I would be one that would be all in favor of, okay, give what this guy's saying a try. But at this point, I can't say that. At this point, I am extremely skeptical of what he is selling. But I am open-minded and willing to entertain the idea. But I'm curious what your thoughts are on this. Well, let me just see what little bit more there is to this.
And appeared in podcasts on YouTube. And what I've found after working with people from all over the world is that you don't need to be a gifted child or a master at meditation to get out of body. You only need to understand the science of your body and mind and have the right methods and tools to assist you with the practice. Because in the same way that we need training wheels when we learn how to bicycle, we need training wheels when we learn how to astral project. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that I see most people make. They try to learn how to astral project without any help or training wheels. And they try to learn this skill on their own and end up lying in bed silently hoping that something magical will happen. And what mostly happens is that they often fall asleep or they lay there for hours and nothing happens at all.
Wait a minute. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, and you may even want to back this video up and listen to it again, but I think I recall him saying how listening to others and so forth got him a little bit, but not real. It wasn't until he did it on his own and came up with it on his own, which I equate to winning the cosmic frickin' lottery, that on your own you come up with this stuff. But in the three biggest mistakes, number one is people try to do it on their own, which is exactly what he said he did, but it's one of the three biggest. I don't get how number one on his three biggest mistakes is something that earlier he said he did and created this successful program. But to continue this.
The second mistake is giving up after just a couple of attempts, thinking that it's impossible or that you're not able to do it. This practice is exactly like learning a new sport or going to the gym. It's something you have to do consistently as a part of your life to get results. And the third and final mistake is thinking you need to be a master at meditation or that you have to get to the vibrations and be in sleep paralysis to project.
Once again, the idea, the reason I would say somebody would give up, not that equating it to being like a sport, I would say the reason somebody would stop trying to do this is they would reach the conclusion that there is no energy body, or to use a religious term of soul, by which to travel. That the body is all we are. So to me, and my skeptical way of looking at things, the first thing that I would be looking to get out of this is the idea that there is more than the physical. If, in order for that hypothesis to be confirmed, I would need something that would confirm that this is beyond my physical body and my experiences and so forth that I have had in my physical body that I am right now. So, and the idea of, I don't know where this idea that you need to be a meditation master, that almost seems to my brain like they're trying to conflate something that does not really connect. Because before watching all of this shit, I didn't have the idea that you have to be a meditation master or some kind of gifted child. Those are ideas that were put forward in this. I just want to be very crystal clear with all of you. Both of those hypotheses are something that were presented in this. Now, they could be projections of what this person was thinking, but be that as it may, it's irrelevant for whether or not this actually works. So, to me, I don't see where you could constitute the idea that thinking you need to be a meditation master, or that this is different from sleep paralysis, because sleep paralysis is the idea that you're awake when your body can't physically move because of chemicals that are released when your body goes to sleep that keeps you from thrashing all around, although there are cases, even though, like my ex had said, when I sleep, I more or less stay in the same position, but not entirely. This idea of sleep paralysis, to use the term, I'm skeptical, because it's something that I've heard in regard to the idea of alien abduction and so forth, but I don't know. People in the comment section, give me, if you guys know whether or not sleep paralysis is actually a thing, that it is not just a type of, in itself, pseudoscience, that there is actual science behind this idea of sleep paralysis. I would be curious. But I don't see where this number 3 is valid, because those are ideas that I didn't have going into it. I don't know about any of you.
Like I mentioned earlier, you don't need to be a master at meditation, and there are methods which involve no meditation at all. And you don't need to get vibrations to exit the body. You can use other non-physical sensations as an exit trigger. And finally, you don't need to be in sleep paralysis. It's enough if your body is asleep. So now you know what the mistakes are, but what about the things that actually make you succeed? Well, first of all, you need to have a very strong desire and be serious and committed with your goals. You need to know why it's important to you to astral project, so that you can stick to it for a long term and do the consistent practice that's required, and not just give up after a few attempts. Secondly, you need to overcome any fears or blocks that you might have in the way. And this is something that I help my students to overcome, because it's very natural to have fears of the unknown. Because what you need to understand is that traveling out of body with your energy body is much more safe than traveling with your physical body. Because your energy body cannot get hurt, and it's way more powerful than your physical body. And you can always leave the situation you're in if you don't like it, by just flying away, teleporting, or just return back to your physical body whenever you want, easily. And finally, what you need to succeed is clear guidelines, tools, and personalized guidance. Myself and my students use a powerful step-by-step proven system which is designed to take a complete beginner who has never had any experiences to become someone who has regular and controlled astral projections.
Wait a minute. I don't want to shit on everything he's saying here, but I'm going to. Once again, didn't he say earlier in this that he tested this on himself, kind of, i.e. like David Banner with the Hulk thing, and came across this successful whatnot? If that is the case, then how would this, number 3, relate to him? And why is he so fucking special? it really, I don't get it. It almost seems like, on one hand, he's trying to act like he's not so fucking special, but on the other, he is. And trying to act like he, on his own, discovered all of this stuff and created this successful program, only to turn around and say, you need personalized guidance. Why? What makes you so fucking special that you didn't, but I do? I don't get it. And it just, I don't know. My skeptical nature is coming into this, and what I'm looking at is I don't want this to go over an hour, so I'll see where this goes in a little bit, but now that we're past the 3 positives, the 3 negatives and 3 positives, I'm not sure what more there is to this.
In a very short amount of time. You see, we can astral project mainly through 3 different ways. Firstly, through sleep by transitioning from dreams, and secondly, upon awakening from sleep, and finally, through deep meditation. And all of these methods are beautifully demonstrated through a high-end training program consisting of instructional videos, induction soundtracks, and other special tools which we use as training wheels to guide you and assist you while doing the practice. I created the ultimate training platform so that you don't have to go through the same pain and frustration that I had to go through to learn this skill. When you have access to this training platform, then you can get some amazing results, just like my student Linda Stuletti, who's able to get out of body on her first attempt.
And basically when people start doing the testimonial shit, that's where I kill this. Because, number one, I have no reason to believe that this person isn't simply reading a script that was already written beforehand. I have no reason or evidence whereby to go with the idea that this is anything but a predetermined script that was given to the person in order to promote this program. I do not see, in what you saw, I do not see any reason to believe that it should work, but I am open-minded enough that I'll go through, if they actually call my Skype, and yes, I gave them the number you see there. If they actually call and I have the interview, it will be something that I will be uploading into a video for all of you to see. It is something that I have no expectations going into it, other than to do an interview on the subject of astral projection with somebody that claims that they have a system that works. I will also be exploring this rabbit hole on my own in order to see what I can come up with as far as what there is on the subject of astral projection. But feel free to leave your thoughts, comments in the comment section, or if you have any links with astral projection that you feel would help me dive into this rabbit hole, or things that you want me to look at for a video, include that in the comment section, because there could be not just, it wouldn't just help me dive into the rabbit hole, but it would also be other people that would see the comment section could also see the links and do their own dive down this rabbit hole to reach their own conclusions. Because ultimately that's what I'm all about, is providing the tools whereby not only that you can see how I got to the conclusion I reach, but where you can do your own dive into the subject and reach your own conclusion, be it the same as the same conclusion I did or a bit different. I'm not trying to say in any of my videos that my view on things is the be all and end all, only that it is the conclusion that I have reached regarding a particular issue or topic. But feel free to leave your thoughts, comments in the comment section. Talk to you later, people.